Now, rest assured you're actually early, so feel free to filter on through. Before tonight's awards, we've got some of the formal business of our AGM to cover off on. We promise to rush through that business for you this evening because it's certainly not what everybody came to hear. But nonetheless, we'll get through that in just a few moments' time. Just to give you an indication as to timing for this evening, we've got the AGM kicking off now. There'll be a series of reports just attended. Now, most of them are on display and available for you. If you haven't already picked one up, there's some here on the front table. Of course, as you entered into the room, there's a series of other reports available. So that being the finance report, the chairperson's report, and the executive officer's report, which are all available for your perusal. We'll have a presentation launching Business Watch, I believe, with the very first region to start the Business Watch program. So we feel privileged that Devon is here to share some of the news about that. And then finally, we'll be addressing any questions, queries, concerns, thoughts, hesitations that any membership that are here at Simple may well have, and taking care of any of the formal voting that needs to take place at the end of the AGM. Then we'll move straight into the award ceremony. Now, so at that point, we'll provide everybody an opportunity to make their orders, and of course, you all know where the bar is, but if you're ordering dinner tonight, so you check out the menu. It's just back there. I think we've got a choice of chicken or fish. Certainly make sure that you've got your order in nice and early to ensure that you're getting your preference come dinner time. We'll then run through 5 of the award categories. At that point, we'll take a break, give everybody an opportunity to eat their dinner, and then we'll be straight into the last 5 categories of the evening, and dessert will then follow. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to acknowledge that the land that we meet upon today is the traditional lands of the Gullah people, and we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge that the Gullah people, as traditional custodians of the Adelaide region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to many of the Gullah people today. Well, formally, welcome to our AGM, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute pleasure to be here amongst you, and by way of introduction, my name is David Stockbridge, I'm your chair, and also your MC for this evening. Many of you would have already met our Executive Officer, David Wade. This is passing around the room, big wave from Dave there, and of course, some of those people that you may not have already met, but certainly here have been assisting right throughout the course of the last couple of years and serving on our board. Stephen Knoll, who's our Deputy Chairperson, just off to my right. Andrew Harvey, who is our Treasurer. We've got Debbie Lukens, who will be presenting in just a few moments' time, and had her radio debut just a little bit earlier this week. You're presenting the neighbourhood watch stuff? One of you. Oh, yeah, still will be taking care of business. We'd like to thank Kamal. Kamal's been serving on our board in recent times. And David Balazzo, who's our council representative, she's there today. Unfortunately, Amalia can't be here today. She's taken leave, but she's served as well over the last year or so, and we look forward to Julie filling her shoes on the board as our incoming member. Damien Panino is on his way over here, busy as always, but never too busy for the association. He'll be here in just a few moments' time. Joe Baloigi, as many of you know, a local identity, significant. There he is, Damien Panino just off to the right. Joe, unfortunately, doesn't like coming out at night, so he's reserved that right to stay home this evening, but nonetheless he's here in the spirit, and we're here with his support. Susan, who also serves on our board, is just sitting there and has been doing a wonderful job over the last few years. Finally, we'd like to thank Roel Dunk, our auditor, who's taken care of all the financials and peruse that over and ensure that we're all compliant and that financial statement, of course, is all on this way. So thank you, Roel. Much appreciated. Formally, I'd like to welcome the Honourable Mark Butler, MP, the Shadow Minister for Climate Change and Energy, for coming along this evening. We certainly thank you very much for making time in your very busy schedule. I believe you stepped off the plane from Sydney to make this way directly here this evening. So thank you very much for accommodating us in your busy schedule this evening, and we hope that you enjoy the night. The Honourable Zoe Edison has been called away to parliamentary duties this evening, and so although she would very much like to have been here, and she's a supporter and sponsor of one of our categories tonight. She's duly represented by Kamal, our board member and community board member here as well, who also works with Zoe in her office. Mayor Gillian Aldridge is here tonight as well. Thank you very much for your attendance and wonderful support during the course of the year. David, as mentioned previously, is here in a dual capacity, of course as an elected member and of course serving upon our board. David Bryant's also here, has been a wonderful supporter of ours over recent times. Thank you very much for coming along. Betty, as always enthusiastic, always a big part of things, and always in our ear and supporting us as we go through serving our membership. So thank you very much for that, Betty. Graham Reynolds, not yet here, on his way, but we'll look forward to seeing Graham in just a few moments' time. Bo Grubb is also, I think, our newest elected member, so congratulations on your selection, Bo, and thank you very much for joining us here this evening. John Harry, yes, somebody said yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, there you are. I'll hide behind Andrew. Thank you very much for coming along, our CEO of the City of Salisbury. John's hiding behind Andrew. So Charles hasn't been able to make it, but Terry's certainly here and will deliver a report to us and just share a little bit about the story about what's going on in Salisbury. Very exciting times from a council perspective. They've been very, very busy in terms of rezoning, realigning land usage, and there's some spectacular plans afoot which have been brewing for over the last year or so, and so that'll be really informative and give our membership a real insight into what's coming in the not too distant future. I feel like this, Donna, Deputy Mayor Donna Carletta. My apologies, Donna. You're right there at the top. So, and I've got Linda here as well, Linda Caruso, one of our elected members, has also come along to support us this evening. So, and for all of those elected members, we know there's a whole array of events you get invited along to, a whole bunch of AGMs I've had to sleep through, and a whole lot of council meetings that seem to have been going longer and longer and longer in recent times. So, on behalf of our association, we thank you very much for your dedicated service to our community. And often there's not too many thanks associated with that quite often, so thank you to all who've come along and made time this evening to join us. I feel like there should be a round of applause after that, so thank you very much. And of course, and most importantly, thank you very much to the members that have made time out of their busy schedules to be here this evening. There's still a few that are filtering through that are closing up the shop. We certainly appreciate that the life of a small business person is a busy one. It's one that's torn between the toils of work and the dedication to family life. And to find some time, a slither of your time to be able to come along to such an event is, for us, we certainly really appreciate it, knowing the sacrifices that you make in business and life already. So to our dedicated membership of over 300 people and those 100 or so people that have been able to make it tonight, we thank you very much. It's at this junction that I'll refer you to our report that's been on display. So if you happen to have one in hand, certainly now's the time to bring your attention to it. If you don't have one and you'd like one, just hold your hand up high and Dave will move one around to you. Just behind you. Dave, should be able to pass it up. Fulfilled? Wonderful. So tonight's more of a report on the state of the association than anything, and as such, tonight we'll be going through what it is that we are, what it is that we do. For those people that aren't familiar with the association and may have only learned about us more recently, the Salisbury Business Association is recently rebranded and was previously known as the Salisbury City Centre Association, and previous to that, the Salisbury Town Centre Town Centre Association. It's essentially a traders association that was originally constituted in order to run the Christmas pageant. and has for over now 25 years has been instrumental in bringing that to our community. Of course, over time, the scope and spectre of what it is that the association was required to do certainly broadened. But in recent times, it seems that some of those objectives weren't quite being met. And in the last couple of years, we've had an enthusiastic board that have been elected and we've taken it upon themselves to reform the association of over 300 members. So first and foremost, how do you know whether or not you're a member? Well, very simply, you're a member if you own a business or manage a business in the precinct that is between Commercial Road, Park Terrace and Salisbury Highway. So that triangle, that geographical triangle, now that's been expanded just a little bit with the recent rezoning, but nonetheless, that's essentially where your business would fall. Now, how do you know whether or not you're a paying member? Well, essentially you are, just by being there. There's a levy that's placed upon the council rates. So whether you're paying it directly or your landlord is paying that for you, regardless, you're a paid up member if you're running a business in that area. So many people just didn't know that they were members of the association at all. And many people previously thought that the town centre association or the city centre association perhaps meant just businesses up and down John Street, or perhaps just those traders that were within the Parabanks shopping precinct. But of course, there's many other traders that are directly outside of that have been members, and our job is to, over recent times, has to bring about awareness to our membership that indeed they're actually members. Now that levy is raised by the council on our behalf and is passed on by our treasurer and executive officer into a fund. Now we roughly accumulate just under $200,000 a year through that levy. And out of that money, that pays for David's wages, but moreover, so not all of it, David's came to note. But the whole idea behind the business association, and this is a reason why we're so keen to engage with our membership, because we feel the best and the brightest in Salisbury aren't necessarily being heard. And we want to provide an opportunity for those great ideas that are dwelling in the recesses of your mind, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, those people that come to this city every day. We want to delve deep into your mind and get those great ideas out. Now I know all of you have those ideas. You'd be sharing them on a daily basis with those people that you work with the elected members that may visit you, and with David as he passes through the town centre. What we'd like to do is to provide a voice to those ideas and a platform in which to enact them. So if you are one of those people that have always thought of a better way of doing business, one of those people that have thought there's a better way for Salisbury, one of those people that have thought that perhaps your ideas aren't being heard, I want to make this very, very clear this evening. The Salisbury Business Association is that platform for you. So please, if you're not already actively involved and engaged with our association, that's partly our fault. The last couple of years we've been doing our absolute best to get in contact with you. Up until 2 years ago, we didn't even have a list of our new membership, and with the cooperation of John Harris specifically, we were able to access those details, and as you can imagine, many of those details were quite dated. So email addresses, old postal addresses, business names, people had moved on, businesses had shut, and people had sold their land. So for us, data was the first challenge that we had in isolating who exactly our membership is. Now, we reckon we've got about 65% now of that data together. Of course, 35% is a pretty significant amount of people when you consider there's about 300 members. So there's about 100 or so of you in the room. My best suggestion to you is if you leave tonight with a positive impression, please tell those people that you work next door to or across the road from, or if you're in a shopping centre, those people that also share your space, and let them know about the business association, let them know the platform that it serves, and please spread the word and let them know we might not necessarily know who they are. Now that being the case, please, you'll see Dave walking up and down the main street of Salisbury trailing the laneways and walking through Parabanks on a daily basis, please go up to him, let him know. If you don't already have our details, here it is. Here's our email address. Now, the email address is the best way. Now, since David's been appointed as our executive officer, which is a little over 15 months now, we've had a bi-weekly newsletter, emailed newsletter that's been sent out. That's really a touch point in terms of what's going on with the association. So if you're not receiving that email that goes out on a fortnightly basis, then please, we don't have your email address. Leave them with us tonight. Leave that valuable data with us so that we can keep in contact with you. Or at least then you've got a point of reference and you know the people that you need to be talking to should you have a problem. But moreover, you'll be up to date completely with what's going on. Another plank in our engagement strategy has been our show on 5 PBA FM. So PBA FM, for those people that aren't familiar, is our local community radio station. It's just here on Wheelchair Street. If you're a volunteer, they'd love to see you down there, of course. Now, every fortnight, we're on the alternate week to the Mayor and Betty, we have In Sync with Salisbury. Now, you won't hear any In Sync on that show, though. So, yeah, Justin Timberlake fans, sorry to disappoint you. But what you will hear is some news and views about what's going on in Salisbury, specifically with a trader focus. So it is just half an hour. Unfortunately, it's not recorded, but if you can tune into PBA or tape it. Does anybody have a tape anymore? I don't know if anybody. But if you have that capacity to tune in, please do. It's our opportunity to update you directly with what's going on in real time. So that's another point of our engagement strategy. And moreover, the main and most important part of our engagement strategy has been David Whalen himself, going out there, knocking on doors, talking to people, letting people know what it is that we're doing. Now, if you've opened a business recently in Salisbury, what you would have received is a pack from us, letting you know that we exist, but moreover, giving you some helpful hints and tips about those people to connect with that are specific to your business. Now, if you'd like that pack and you haven't received it already, or perhaps you've been trading for some time and not yet received that information, please let David know. We'd love to get it out to you. It also has a little sticker you can put on your doors proclaiming proudly that you're a Salisbury Business Association member. Now, that'll be important in the time to come because we'd like there to be some tangible benefits attached there to being an association member and greater cooperation in terms of marketing as well. So if you can imagine a Salisbury Business Association card perhaps into the future where discounts may apply for anybody holding that card, there's great scope and great ideas out there, and I'm sure there's plenty of you out here that tonight that have a few of those ideas yourself you'd like to share about how such a program could be rolled out. Communication and collaboration has been a big thing for us. It's been a matter of establishing who the major stakeholders in our community are and to be able to develop a relationship so that we can work closely with them. Closely with our friends in council, in particular, who partnered with us right throughout the last couple of years, and in particular have lent their muscle and brains to our events that have taken place. That was no more obvious than this Saturday just gone with the Food and Cultural Festival that was to be held in John Street, and because of last minute weather, unpredictable, the nature of weather being such that we had to move that last minute. And that simply couldn't have happened without the help of Rotary, without the assistance of council, without, and of course, David's long hard work. If David's still sick and sitting down, well, I think you can blame Saturday for that as much as anything. So it's quite an exhausting effort to take an event that's been in the planning for 18 months and last minute change it to a completely different venue, isolate those people to prune back from, and it's always a difficult task. And Dave did a spectacular job in cooperation with Adam Trotman at Council, and of course the whole team that really did a fantastic job to ensure that event still went ahead. So, so having those relationships with the community, with those people that are some of the community groups there from very diverse cultural backgrounds, for instance, that we've not yet had previous contact with, Dave did a fantastic job to establish those relationships, and we just hope that the events in the years to come will be all the richer for that stakeholder management and engagement. Of course, as I've touched on already, a big part of our job is to bring people to Salisbury, to give people a first positive impression, a taste, if you like, of what Salisbury has to offer, and to encourage them to return for the benefit of all of our traders. And so as part of that, we've run a series of events. Now these events we've just simply made up, so if you've got better ideas, please let us know, because we're working with the best ones we've got. And that's why we do want the best and brightest in Salisbury. That's why we want the entrepreneurs amongst you, the business managers and those people that we hope are smarter than us, who can come along and share some of those ideas with us to further enrich our event schedule. That event schedule at the moment stands as the Food and Cultural Festival, as was just last Saturday, which was a wonderful event. And of course the Christmas pageant, which still stands as the pinnacle event within our calendar, which this year will be on the 2nd of December. That is the second longest running Christmas pageant in South Australia, so something for Salisbury to be very, very proud of. It's also the second biggest of its type. And as we've seen in recent times, those Christmas pageants seem to be popping up in every local government area that's around Adelaide, and yet still our events were really well attended, and this year will be bigger and better than ever, with plans to make it even better into the future. We've also got the All Aussie Car Show Day, which is a brainchild of one of our board members named Vanino. Simply from experiencing a similar event elsewhere, we could see how such an event could be applied to Salisbury, and as such, straight out of his imagination into reality, on the 22nd of October, 2 days after Holden's closure, Salisbury, a community that for many, many years had been, we've lived in the shadow of the Holden's factory. I think you'd agree. It's been an intricate part of all of our lives. I mean, I tried to get a job there twice, but I failed the manual dexterity test on both occasions, and so the best I could do in life was to become a real estate agent. But if I didn't have two left thumbs, there may have been a better future for me there at Holden's. And so many of my friends found pathways of employment there at Holden's, and so it's with a tinge of regret and remorse that we do see Holden's pass, but it's in the wake of that we see the strength and resolve of our business owners, and those people within our community. And part of our response as a business association was to put on an event that was in celebration of that era that gave our community so much for so many years, and just people that love cars an opportunity to polish them up and bring them out. So if you've got an all Aussie car, it can be any type of brand. We've got a proud history of vehicle manufacturing in this country. We've built Renaults and Nissans, Datsuns, Sigmas, we build it all. And Minis, it's not just about Holdens and Fords, but if you've got any Aussie built car, you've got friends, spread the word. This is already going to be a massive event, and one that we not only hope shares a bit of the love around our and affection for our Australian local automotive manufacturing industry, but also showcases Salisbury. So that'll be on the 22nd of October. And just more recently, I think David's also in negotiations to put forward a family-friendly day. Family-friendly day right here in the heart of Salisbury as well, and there'll be more news on that to come. A big focus of recent times, and when we 2 years ago formulated this new business association, security was a massive concern. Well, I can happily report that last month was the quietest month of crime for Salisbury since we've been meeting, and that's part of the cooperation between those people that are here, the great work that Safehold and Deb in particular as our local liaison officer has been putting into establishing relationships with each and every one of you. It's also good to note, and for those people that are unaware, there's well over, you know the exact, 150 cameras is there in Salisbury? Lots of them? Lots, let's just go with lots, but well over 100 cameras that are monitoring our precinct at every time. So if you're wondering why the wife knew what you were doing during the afternoon, well that's why, and she might have the direct link. But that's monitored by security, that's monitored by police, and provides 24-hour surveillance. That's so that people who come to Salisbury feel safe and secure. And if you weren't already aware of those provisions that are in place, well, I hope you feel a little safer and secure as a result. That monitoring area covers from the train station down John Street and covers many of the laneways off of it. And so that's to ensure that your workers, when they're leaving home for the night, there's eyes on them. It's to ensure that your customers, when they come into the precinct, and if something happens, we've got some evidence for them. It's to ensure that your staff feel that little bit safer. So that's a wonderful initiative by council, with some funding there from our friends in the state government who've come to the party to address that concern. Also, the great work by SAPOL can't be underestimated. Where we've had issues, they seem to be isolated, they seem to be concentrated, and they seem to be that of the few. And SAPOL have taken a real intelligent policing strategy and have just gone to the few and resolved those issues and done it in a timely fashion. So my best suggestion to any of those people that are here tonight that have experienced any issues or problems, first and foremost, if you don't know Deb, make friends with her, grab her mobile number. If there's an issue that you're experiencing, for instance, that's not an emergency, but it is a concern, or you see a trend emerging in and around your workplace, then you can give Deb a call and she can keep an eye on it and put the right people onto the job. If you feel threatened, you know that the behaviour is wrong, something's been stolen, there's been some crime, then call the 1300 number. If it's an emergency, dial 888. But what's most important, that if you don't have the time as a trader to pop down to the police station at the end of the day to report your crime, that crime is still reported. Because if you don't report the crime, then the appropriate allocation of resources can't be made. And so if we start having crime pop up, it's the only reason, and there seems to be a delay in response time and difficulties in addressing those particular security concerns. In a lot of cases, it's simply because a lot of smaller events haven't been reported previously, whether that be informally to Deb or to directly to the 1300 number. So please report. We don't want to see the list getting longer, but we feel that if you keep reporting, the reality is that this will stay as it was last month for many, many years to come. Finally, moving forward, the board is committed to maintaining a full and vibrant board. We're working on succession planning at this point in time. Of course, a big part of tonight is exposing many of you to the Business Association who perhaps may not have previously had an opportunity to meet with us. We would like to encourage any of you to attend our board meetings or become active members on our board. There are many vacancies that are available, of course. We've got a good, strong board, but if we to continue on with the initiatives into the future, we definitely need fresh blood, great ideas, and a wonderful energy, and that only comes from new people joining us. So please have a chat to Dave. If you feel you've got a way or you've got an idea that makes Salisbury a better place, we want to hear about it. We want to see you actively involved. Finally, before we go too much further into any of the official business here, I would personally like to thank our whole board, who, for many of you that are involved in community type organisations, it is generally left up to the few and not the many, but I can proudly say that we've formed a quorum at every single meeting that we've had over the last 2 years, with the exception of a meeting that we misjudged and had just before Christmas, and even then I think Susan, Joe and myself sat there, maybe Stephanie was there, and I think we still formed a quorum at a meeting that nobody else thought they had to be at, so it was wonderful. So we've got a very strong board. It is one with vision, but more importantly, we want more of it. We want you guys to get involved. So please, if you take anything away from tonight, it is my appeal to you to lend your considerable talents and intelligence to the great cause of Salisbury. More formally, I'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, for this evening, of which there are many, and so we thank you very much for your support. Our main sponsors over the 2016-17 period have been the City of Salisbury, of course, are involved hand in glove with everything that we do, and are by far and away our strongest champions. The club, the Parrot Gardens Community Club, who, although they're outside of our area, are such a community focus they can't help but get involved. Rotary are wonderful, and Rotary people are just over there. Zillian is our current president of Rotary, of course, and Graham, the whole team, Tony, always there lending a hand, putting up a marquee, setting up a barbecue, making sure that the events that we run smoothly, and it's a thankless task. Literally nobody ever thanks them. So from the bottom of my heart, Thank you so much to the people at Rotary who dedicate so much of their own time and energy, not for the thanks, not for the recognition, just to do their bits. A big round of applause for Rotary, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Parabanks, Duncan Bashir, Hannon have jumped on board this year. Simon Rama, who are always an active supporter. I saw Andrew as he popped into the room. Thank you very much, Andrew. Always in there with sponsorship dollars and helping out in kind. Of course, Ken and Tyre have come on more recently as well, seeing the opportunity that we present. Our supporters during 2016, I'll just run through them, but Adelaide Hills Beef, always involved in everything that we do. The Bendigo Bank, of course, just there in Parabanks. Beyond Bank, of course, do a fantastic job with us. Big W have jumped on board at recent times as well. The Commonwealth Bank in Salisbury, got all the banks interested, Dave. I don't know what you were doing there. Duncan Bashir Hannon, who wonderfully support us, and Julie's coming on board. Julie Hyde is one of our newest board members, so fantastic to have a woman of her acumen become involved in our board. Emperor's Crown Chinese restaurant, we love them. I love the sizzling Mongolian steak, it's my favourite. No, I'm not doing this for a free sizzling Mongolian steak, but it is good. I mean, you've got to head down there. Eureka Tavern, Gasworks in Salisbury, Carol and the team, of course, Hardcore Sergeant. I shouldn't really be mentioning them, should I, Andrew? But nonetheless, they're there. Matt and the team have been proud supporters of much of what we've done. High Z Sound. Hoyts, of course, you know, what a fantastic job they've done in activating that corner of Salisbury. I think you'll agree. If you've tried to get a park in Salisbury at 6 p.m. on a Saturday night, you're going to find it hard. You're going to have to park all the way over in Parabanks car park at the moment. Such is the enthusiasm that the community has got for Hoyts right now, and of course their luxurious seating there. They made a huge bet on Salisbury. It was one of the first one in South Australia, I believe, Dave, that they renovated and refurbished and set up in such a way. And it's just wonderful to see that our community's responded. And of course, it's not just for Hoyt's benefit. You know, you've got the Tandoori Temptations, the Emperor's Crown there across the road, and it creates a real sense of safety when you've got a whole bunch of people around as well. But to activate that corner after 20 years and to make that a happening place again is all credit to Hoyt. So congratulations to them. John Street Pharmacy, that are always on board and always supporting us. KFC, they're of course and doing their bit. Mad Hatters, always doing great things for us. Miss M, they're always big supporters of what we've been doing here over recent times. Mabara and Van and the team, of course, they can't help but be involved. National Pharmacies, we thank them as well. Opal, the branch of the City of Salisbury, of course, you know, wherever possible, they've found a way to help out. Pizza Republic, just a couple of doors down, and one of our finalists for this evening, I think, as well. So they're a new business here, and the lads have taken over and got a great social media campaign. They're giving away stuff all the time, so jump on their Facebook page and make sure you're getting your discount pizza at some stage. Ronan Horn, Andrew and his team, of course, and beautifully activated that part of John Street with the refurbishment of that building, and you can see right next door now the Salvos have done the same on the opposite side of the road. Joe's just had that building painted as well, and so it's just wonderful to see the leadership that's taking place in Salisbury, not just at a board level, but on an aesthetic level. We're now seeing Salisbury improved almost on a daily basis. I think in the last 12 months you've seen the Commonwealth Bank go in, you've seen the Raymond Horton building pop up and be refurbished, you've seen those other buildings, as I've already noted, being painted, and it's much to the benefit of Salisbury that people are taking great pride in not only their building stock but in their businesses. It makes the rest of us look fantastic as well. Salisbury Bakery, always pop down there for an American donut if you get the opportunity. I did this morning. Salisbury Hotel, of course. Now, another example, private people taking over from a big national concern who didn't have a whole lot of love for their staff, it would appear, and had let the building go. Now, that's one of the iconic sites in Salisbury, so absolutely fantastic to see what those guys are doing. And if you haven't popped into the Salisbury Hotel recently for a snizzle, do yourself a favour, head down there. You'll just see the whole vibe of the place change from 12 or 18 months ago. You see the staff are happier and engaged, and they'll happily tell you why. You'll also see the building being transformed and more renovations to come over the next 12 months there as well. So just fantastic to see an iconic site like that now with the right caretakers looking after the place. Salisbury optometrists, always doing their bit. Sinorama, as previously mentioned. Spendless Shoes have been getting involved, so God bless them. Spine Care Chiropractic in Salisbury have also been getting involved. Springbank Chemist King and of course the Stockade Hotel are always actively involved with what we do, and we thank them all. So ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our supporters, financially and otherwise. I'll formally attend to the financial report, so Andrew Hardy, our Treasurer, is here this evening. He's happy to address any questions or concerns that you may have. We thank Raoul for his fantastic work year in, year out in reconciling our accounts and making sure that we're all compliant. If there's any questions with respect to the financial report as tendered, with respect to David Whalen's pay, any conjecture over that? The 200,000 a year I heard. But it's all there. We're open and transparent, folks. If you scroll through the next page, you'll see it all there. What we spend, it's all in your benefit. We've absolutely had a focus in the last 12 months of raising more sponsorship dollars so that we take the burden away from our membership, but moreover so that we can do more stuff for you guys. So you'll see that reflected, and I think next year you'll see more sponsorship dollars rolling in. But it's all there. If you think of any questions during the course of this evening, you may be perusing the document for the very first time, certainly feel free to approach Andrew. It's the big guy down in the blue shirt, sitting next to John Harry apparently. So feel free to approach him and discuss that further. So at this juncture, I'll just pause for a moment. Are there any questions or queries with respect to anything I've just gone through with you guys? They say that's always the worst way to end a meeting is with questions. Always ends on a bummer. No one wants the last one. Okay. Is there any nominations for any of the vacancies that are on our board at this point in time? If you didn't prepare to nominate at this stage, Dave, I'm looking at you. If you didn't prepare to do that, you can simply do it by raising hands. We'd love to see you involved. What have we got for vacancies at the moment? We're after, there we go. We've got 5 vacancies. We've got new directors to be appointed. So we've got Julie Hyte's nomination. Julie would effectively be replacing Amalia on the board. Is Julie here? No? So if there's no objections to Julie being appointed to the board, we'll accept her. Yeah. Okay. Now we do, as you can see, have other vacancies available right now. How many people have we got on board? 10, 11? There's 16 all up, but we've got about 11 at the moment. So we've got 16 positions available. So let me just give you a bit of a breakdown as to what your obligations are. Once a month, on the 3rd Wednesday of every month at 8:30 a.m, we gather for an hour. We try to keep it to an hour. We know how valuable your time is. During that hour, we run through an agenda. Now, you get to contribute to that agenda. You get to voice your ideas, your opinions, and share your thoughts, your concerns. You get to hear everybody else's opinion at the same time. We're there to formulate better ideas for Salisbury and better ways of spending some of this $200,000 that we raised in the levy. So, is there anybody here at this point in time that would like to, I mean, we're not putting you on the spot at all, are we? But if you'd like to raise your hand, you'd be elected unopposed, it would appear. I feel like I should be calling it 3 times, like first rule, second rule. Okay, so no nominations. Now, those vacancies will subsist for some time, naturally. So if you do give further thought and consideration to whether or not you'd like to contribute at a board level, like I say, so 1 hour, once a month, and in the meantime, any ideas that you have, you get the wonderful support amongst it. We've got the largest landholder in Salisbury, we've got some of the smartest business minds in Salisbury, we've got access to good-looking elected officials as well. One in purple shirt anyway. So if there's if that's appealing to you and you've got some great ideas, please certainly don't hesitate to approach myself or David. We'd love to see you involved. I think that pretty much concludes the business end of proceedings from my end. And at this stage, I'd like to call up Susan O'Connor, so ladies and gentlemen, Susan O'Connor. Now, Susan's here to launch a Business Watch program.
Great, awesome. Thanks very much for having me. This is very exciting because this group seems to do all the work that I would usually come in and try and get established and set up and run. So it's really great to see and hear about some of the things that are happening here within Salisbury. And as mentioned, this is our first relaunch of Business Watch for the Neighbourhood Watch program. And for those that know about Neighbourhood Watch, it's been around for over 30 years now. And under that program, we have other programs that sit, including Business Watch, School Watch, Transit Watch, and Health Watch. We were very lucky 4 years ago that the government gave us $2 million to remediate Neighbourhood Watch, which meant we sat down and had a look at how the program was running. And it is still one of the most successful crime prevention programs that's run here across Australia and internationally. The problem we had with it was that we had a lot of people join up 30 years ago and they were very excited about the program, and those people are still the people running the program today. So those people, when they joined 30 years ago, were families, and they joined because they cared about what was happening within their community. And I guess it just, they did have a lot put into it from lots of different aspects, and we've still got lots of older people doing it, and we've kind of missed the boat with families and younger people. So we've spent the last 4 years looking at how we can engage with the community on all different levels, including businesses, and we've just sort of, it's just taking off now with pre-launching groups, and obviously this is our first discussion tonight in relation to Business Watch, which is really exciting. What we're hoping to achieve with this new launch of the program is that it's a link between SAPOL and businesses, and I guess with your association here, you kind of already have it because Deb does attend your monthly meetings and you do get that information. You have a great newsletter support through emails and that, but a lot of other business groups don't have that. And when Business Watch was originally established, there was some criteria for any of those that were around back in the day when it was run. You had to attend so many meetings, you had to be part of a group that was either a shopping centre or there had to be a reason for the group existing. And what we're trying to achieve now is to take all of those things away, because we know that you are time poor, as is everybody, and make it really easy for you to be part of this network in relation to Business Watch. So it's about linking the community, and particularly businesses, back to SAPOL, and about how we can support you through providing information in relation to particularly crime and keeping your businesses safe. So the program sort of what we're aiming to achieve: business security, premises target hardening, and building resilience against the common things that businesses face: frauds, thefts, robberies, those sort of things. And that would be done through training, information, and I guess regular updates. One of the biggest criticisms that we have is that businesses don't know what's going on within the community. They don't get regular updates as to the crime, what's emerging, and obviously trends to be aware of. So what we're trying to do is fill that gap in relation to what information you do get. And as I said before, it had restrictions on it. Now we're looking at it can be set up anywhere. You could be a shop and be part of the Business Watch program. The only thing that we really need is an email address, and obviously your association already has those email addresses. We're going to feed that information through you. So it can still be a shopping centre, it can be a precinct. We've had industry-specific Business Watch groups, or it could just be that you're a sole business on a road and you want to be part of the program. So what you would get as being members as such, obviously local police contact and support, and you are very lucky because every time I come here in Salisbury, all I hear about is how wonderful Deb and her team are, so you do have that local support here. We're looking at running yearly statewide forums, so if we have a spike in crime in relation to armed robberies, we would put a forum on where we would invite business owners and managers and staff to come in and listen to us speak, and have experts come in and speak in relation to whatever that crime topic was that was relevant at the time. Monthly e-newsletters regarding crime trends, which will go out through your usual networks, and optional training. So if there was a crime that was specific for this area, again, we could come out and work with Deb and we'll take out here and actually do that training. We've just redesigned all of our new logos, so you can see the Business Watch signs at the front, and they're here ready tonight to go up within the Salisbury precinct, which is really exciting. We also have the new neighbourhood watch bin stickers, which are on the front door as you came in. So these are the ones for your residential bins. They go on the side of the bin and obviously just remind people to report crime within your area. So again, just a deterrent. But we also have the business watch ones. Now, some businesses were keen to have these on their windows and others were their bins. So if you'd like one tonight, there's a whole heap out on the table. If there's not enough, please let us know and we'll get more to you. So there'll be other promotional material that comes out that as a member of Business Watch you'd be entitled to. And obviously it gives you the opportunity to network with other businesses, but we've got that through your association, which is really good. Very quick summary in relation to Business Watch tonight. We've got a Facebook page which is for Neighbourhood Watch in general. Neighbourhood Watch is the program that sits over all of those other programs, as I said at the start. So again, if you jump on like the Facebook page, we do have regular information in relation to businesses and crime trends and issues in relation to that as well. But it's really exciting that we've had the opportunity to come out here tonight and launch the program. I look forward to getting some photos and seeing the signs up in the precinct. And again, there's a whole heap of information and resources on the table as you walk in, so please feel free to grab them tonight for you. Thank you.
Stakeholder have been fantastic partners of ours over the last, in the time of my involvement in the association, and Deb in particular has brought these initiatives to the table, and when she was discussing the Business Watch program, we were such a good fit because our association was functioning so well. We already had the conduit of communication, and so it just seemed to be the natural place to launch the program. So it's everybody here can take a great deal of credit and pride as a result of being the first area of this led to roll this out. So well done to you all. Big round of applause to you all. So Terry Sutcliffe's here. Terry's the General Manager for the City of Salisbury, has been heavily involved in what was a bit of a contentious issue up until the recent vote, but after much consternation, deliberation and discussion, the good elected members of our council area have seen it within themselves to pass the resolution in order to proceed with the community hub. Now, it is one of those concepts that has developed some conjecture online, and it's great to see a frank and free exchange of ideas. But can I just say from the association's perspective that this is one of the great initiatives. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity that if we let slip through our fingers, I fear won't come and revisit us again. This has great potential. It sits as one of the three planks in the council's concept and ideas for Salisbury's future. One, of course, is the DPA that many of you would have seen released that allocated rezoning for John Street up to 6 stories, 4 stories in the back street. You've also got the Salisbury Oval precinct, and we've already seen St Jay's being removed from the map, all in preparation of developing that precinct into the future, because that feeds very nicely into the catalyst for it all. It serves as an example for what can be done with our new zoning. It serves to give council an opportunity to deliver its services in a revolutionary way to its community. But moreover, it's a massive injection into our local economy at a time, and exactly the time with whole exposure that we need it. So Terry will cover off it in all details, and of course share more with you now. So Terry, if I can hand over to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Sutcliffe.
Thanks very much, David, and probably from that little address I'll shorten my presentation tonight, so thanks for the intro. Just to emphasise, the Community Hub project is very much part of a much broader agenda for Salisbury City Centre. It is clearly a very, very important component of the Salisbury City Centre renewal program that the council's rolling out, along with the private sector and state government, obviously, as well. It is the catalyst for further development and further development opportunity within the city centre as well, which will roll through. So what I've got tonight is essentially a snapshot of what was presented to council on Monday night, which council has signed off on in relation to the Community Hub, in relation to the current state of play in relation to the Community Hub design, which we're now going to proceed with to develop further as a result of that council decision. So just in terms of a bit of context around the site, That image is indicating that it's essentially spread over 2 sites. One is the existing council car park adjacent to the Civic Square, and a property that council's contracted to purchase on Paramount adjacent, so essentially wrapping around the existing Civic Square, and then the existing Civic Centre, which is on the northern side, being demolished ultimately, so that the facilities and functions there move into the new Civic Hub along with the Liddell Library facilities, opening up the existing Civic Centre site for future development, but also enable car parking to be replaced on that particular site that is currently adjacent to the Civic Square. Here's a bit of a snapshot of the actual floor plan. John Street on the right, Church Street to the bottom, James Street to the left. It wraps around the Civic Square and obviously the cemetery as well. And it also backs onto the Parallax service lane, which is also going to double up as the service lane for the new building. Associated with that, as I mentioned, is replacement car parking, and this is an indicative plan of how that car parking may look. There's around about 70 spaces that currently sit within the land being purchased from Parallax plus the council car park, which will be replaced in some way, shape or form in the existing Civic Centre site. This is one of the options that we're looking at, but this is something that we're designing to do a bit more work on clearly, and we recognise the significance and importance of parking to the city centre. So in terms of the ground floor plan, this is a community space first and foremost, as is certainly more than 50% of the buildings allocated for community space and activity, the balance being council civic and administration components. So this component encompasses what is a new learning and information centre, essentially with new iteration of library facilities. The left-hand side there in brown is community meeting rooms and large meeting spaces, and there are also bookable meeting spaces right throughout this ground floor. The Civic Square is in the sort of bottom right corner of this image. So here's a bit of I guess a look and feel of the building inside. In terms of community space, these are images from similar sorts of facilities that are around Australia and some of which are in Adelaide. But it gives an idea of the sort of impression in terms of the look and feel, the fit out and so forth that we're pursuing for the hub, which is now part of the next phase of the design. Thanks. If we move up to level 1, essentially a small portion of the right-hand side of this image is office space. To the left is community space again, which also incorporates the council's chambers on the left-hand side, which are bookable and usable by the community at times council's not using them for meetings. And it also includes on this level a terrace, which fronts out over the Civic Square. And you'll see a small rectangle on the right-hand side there, which indicates a large screen for being able to hold events around sporting events, cinema nights and so forth, looking out over the Civic Square attached to the building. Grand final road will be right. We then move up, and I'll just step through these because these two levels are getting the administration space on level 2 and 3. So overall, 4 building. One of the very important components of the building is flexibility around being able to run events and have this space able to be booked out. So these images here show some of the configurations of the building on the ground floor in terms of event space. It's been designed for holding events for up to 500 people in the configuration in the bottom left corner there on the ground floor. And being able to be opened up and reconfigured as needed for those larger events. But we expect that most of the events that we hold will be in the sort of 20 to 200 people range, and there are a number of spaces within the building that this will accommodate. Up on the second level as well, again I mentioned the council chambers there in the bottom right, and the use of the terrace that can also be configured for events. So these are the sorts of spaces where we'd be very, where we're looking for the community and community groups to book out space and utilise space within the building for their functions and events. One of the things that we had some feedback on, for example, is local schools not having a suitable facility within the council area for some of their larger functions and having to go some distance to utilise those. And if we then talk about how the building is intended to operate in conjunction with the Civic Square, these two images show how that will work. So opening up into the Civic Square in conjunction with that ground floor space, and there is the potential, if you have a look at the way the curving in the street is designed around John Street, Church Street, to actually shut down sections of streets for big events, like the car show, for example, like Salisbury Civic Garden, and also use the building internally next area. So if you look at just some of the images that have been produced by the architects, this is a perspective looking from John Street, essentially from the arcade next to the Navara restaurant. A view from James Street, to the right is the cemetery. A view from the proposed publicly accessible terrace on level 1, looking out over the Civic Square, and that pillar in the background there behind that person was the clock tower. This is a view from John Street again on the corner of the Parabanks Entry and Service Laneway. A view from the Civic Square, which depicts where the large screen is intended to be, facing out over the Civic Square so that we can program our space for events. And again, another shot from the Civic Square, this time further back essentially from the corner of Church Street and John Street, showing the sort of form and massing of the building and the utilisation of the Civic Square and the building together. The building has a number of overhangs that project out in that space, so we've got shade and shelter during hot weather or wet weather adjacent to the Civic Square. So in terms of next steps, the design development, as I said, was approved by Council on Monday night. That's what we've seen tonight represents about 30% in terms of design development. We're now proceeding with that decision on council to further develop designs to around about 50% completion for the decision by council in December. The consultation, all those plans will occur over that period as well. And concurrent with that, we will be going out to a public, an open expression of interest process to companies who may wish to tender for the construction of the building with a view to, subject to a council decision in December, tendering in the early part of next year. The tender process will commence in February with the objective of the successful tender from the shortlisted ELI respondents being appointed and starting on site in May of next year. And about an 18-month construction phase over through about September, October of 2019 before occupation. And then following the relocation of the library and current civic centre into the new facility, that allows the demolition of the existing civic centre, construction of car parking and so on. A couple of things I'd just like to emphasise is in relation to the current site. One of the objectives of the Council's broader planning for the city centre is to extend Church Street to connect through to Gawler Street and Salisbury Highway. And to do that, the existing civic centre site is to be utilised for a portion of that extension of Church Street, which also develops two sites either side. The value of those sites plus the Langdale Library site is estimated conservatively at about $7 million, but should council decide to go this way, the intent is obviously to put those sites out to the market for private sector investment on that land at the appropriate time. Again, just really building the investment and vitality into Salisbury City Centre.
As I mentioned before, there's been a lot of conjecture over this. It's a massive investment, but as you were saying, Terry, we'll open it up to questions in a few moments' time. There's been some figures out there about this particular project. The headline figure has been $44 million, which sounds like a lot of money because it is a lot of money. But $44 million, you're saying that some of those costs are being recovered from the sale, potential sales of assets and sites.
That's just to put a bit of context around the total project costs, and we're including all costs associated with the project. is about 43.6. The build cost is about 28.5 million for the actual build cost. And then off the total cost of the project, we're factoring in returns of around $7 million of land sales, obviously.
So, I'm not real great at maths, but that leaves about $20 million investment.
If we look at the total investment, it's probably about a $36 million investment, total investment. And the build cost itself, without all the
Sounds like a good value when you peruse the messaging this week and played the council spending about $8 million on the car park. So, any questions out there about this? There's always time to ask the questions for people who've got food in front of them. Of course. Architect. Oh, how quick can it be built? I've got a name. Luigi. He's pretty quick. Can't guarantee there won't be cracks. Yeah, he only does cash though. Yeah, so might be an issue. If there's no further questions, ladies and gentlemen, join me in thanking Terry for coming along out of hours, dedicated public service, sharing some great news about Salisbury. If I can invite Gillian Aldridge, our mayor, just to join us at the lectern for a few moments, and thank you for surrendering your beautiful official chicken. Oh, fish.
Hello everyone, you all know who I am because you're mostly all my friends or colleagues or something like that. So hello everyone, it's great to see you here. What does this building mean for you? For the Salisbury Business Association, by the way, may I thank you guys for your absolutely fantastic support. And also Rotary and Bhutanese communities coming along and everyone here behind this. What does it mean to you? It means more business for Salisbury. It means more people coming in. It means the opportunity of you footy fans. Is there any footy fans here? One or two? Yeah, I guess there might be. It means you footy fans can actually come out on a nice night and watch your footy on an outside screen. It means that you who like to meet your friends and have a cuppa or read a library book. It means that you people who want to learn and grow will each have the opportunity. I'm looking at Celine over there. It means an opportunity for people to get together and have meetings. And there's storage, guys. It means that and so much more. We have consulted with the people for 5 years. I have stood out in John Street myself and said, draw us a picture, tell us what you want. We still want you guys to do that. Tell us what you want. What do you see in there? And people have told us with enthusiasm. So I'm very proud to be part of this exciting new venture for Salisbury, and I know you guys will all get behind it. Thank you very much.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Well, as you're all enjoying your meals, and certainly the bar is still open, a request from the team here at the RSL is just as you're finishing up your drink, if you are ordering another one, please just return your glass. After all, it's just a kind thing to do, and all their staff are on hand to service our meals on time, so we can free them up a little bit by taking a glass back to the bar. They'll be in gratitude of that. So we'll be back here in just a few moments' time, kicking off the very first Salisbury Business Awards. We've got, yeah, a big round of applause there. Some eager participants there. This was a spectacular initiative. Nearly 3,000 votes. That's from the public. So 3,000 votes went into establishing. We had to expand how many categories we had. So we went to 10 categories, 3 finalists in 10 categories, and this is guys, there was over 70 businesses that were nominated for an award, which is just spectacular, and it goes to the heart of how your customers feel about your business, that they go out of their way to vote for you online or fill out one of the forms. For those businesses that really got engaged with the program and had those forms out the front, well, you were rewarded by your votes, of course. For those that didn't have the opportunity to, and there are several of you that are finalists here tonight that didn't even know the awards were on until you became finalists. That's because of the online, the Facebook campaign that we ran in support of this event, bringing about greater awareness, not just of the event, but of course of your business. We're in an area, of course, where times are tough. They're always tough. I don't know a time in my memory where anybody said times are great here in Salisbury. We always seem to be swimming against the tide, but in that adversity, it's our small businesses that thrive, and it's those finalists that are here tonight. Should be very proud of their accomplishment. Not only that you're here as a finalist tonight, but more importantly, that it's your customers that have put you here this evening. We look forward to rewarding you and recognising your achievements for the year in just a few moments' time.